cross-gender leisure activity project. History and current issues for this activity. Historical perspective. Rock climbing has been predominantly for the male gender activity because the history of rock climbing is sport which typically involves climbing up or across rocks dates back to approximately 400 BC, which was the time period when Chinese first painted men climbing out rocks with watercolors, which just shows us that even in 400 BC, men were the only ones documented participating in recreational activities. There is history of women participating in rock climbing in the past. The history of women in climbing has come a long way, from the late 1700s to the early 1800s. Women were practically non-existent in the climbing world, but as time went on, women took to the hills. Current perspective. Today, women participate more frequently in rock climbing and are even featured next to men in rock climbing competitions. In a study done to 39 world-class climbers, 18 females and 21 males, prior to competition in international world climbing competitions, results indicated that elite sport climbers are small, moderate stature and exhibit very low percent fat, which shows that the reduction of body mass and percent fat are primarily adaptations in female athletes. This just shows us that women are adapting to male-dominated sports in order to participate and become better in the sport. Current or recent issues around rock climbing that are particularly interesting include the most recent rock climbing competition known as the Lead World Cup Championship, which took place in Kunderi, Somalia, and drew almost 100 competitors, with 58 men and 37 women taking part. Kim Jan of Korea, who has already won 5 World Cup titles, came in first place out of the female competitors, while Spanish Ramon Julian Solaki, one of the older contestants, took it for the men. What are your theories as to why there are or may not have been historical changes in the participation? Theories as to why there may have not been historical changes are that some of the stereotypes are breaking down with respect to girls and women's sports participation, perceptions of female sports and male sports, and are based on how appropriate such activities are thought to be for each gender. A nationwide Canadian survey of participation in sports and physical activities found that more than half of women surveyed were active in their leisure and they participated for 3 or more hours per week. A theory as to why there have been historical changes is greatly due to women wanting to explore outside the home, as well as increasing their chances to enjoy recreational activities not traditionally meant. Relationships to class materials. Traditional ideals. Rock climbing fits into traditional ideals of leisure for the opposite gender due to the physical strength required to participate in the sport. A good example of this activity fitting into traditional ideals is men are expected to participate in dangerous activities more than women. For example, women who choose to pursue leisure exercises and experiences such as bodybuilding, rock climbing, or wrestling, playing without having to confront traditional expectations around femininity or gender identity. Experience with rock climbing related to class. My experience with the cross-gendered activities, rock climbing relates to class materials covered as it relates to feminism, and a good example would be far fewer women than men express interest in risk activities such as rock climbing or extreme skiing. fear of heights, and not to mention I was not aware that indoor rock climbing gyms were available. Some constraints I might have felt is I lacked upper body strength and height constraints needed to participate in this mountain. Reflection on my personal learning. This activity challenged me physically and mentally because I was able to push myself to the limit. This was physically challenging because no harness was used as a backup. The only option was to either go to the top or at some point jump down, but sometimes that was not an option. This was also mentally challenging because I had to think of where to put my hands and feet in order to reach the top. It was like working on a puzzle. Insights into leisure for my gender and the opposite gender gains. Some insights were that I have respect for men using physical strength and using their physical abilities as a recreational purpose. I would participate in this activity again because it allows me to challenge myself both mentally and physically. Not to mention, it is a great place to socialize and meet new people who enjoy the sport. I really enjoyed trying a new recreational activity, and I recommend others to try it, especially on a rainy day. Indoor rock climbing is a great way to keep fit, stay dry, and have fun.